first cycle, I got interviews from 3 schools, but I wasn't able to clear that last step, which is just the bench. And in my second cycle, I was able to do that, and I got accepted to University of Pittsburgh and also Buffalo. That's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Preeti. I want to call you that from now on. So we'll begin with a few questions on the form. But before that, I also want to remind you, as and when you have questions, you can type them out. Especially now that she's told you a little bit about, like, say, she did MPH and she had one cycle before her. So those kind of questions that you might have, please type them in. So, Preeti, I'll tell you a couple of questions that came in. The one question that came in was a little about do we keep how to order TOEFL reports, number one. Number two, do we keep reordering them every cycle? Do you remember about that?
So about reordering, I don't think you have to reorder them unless the school asks you to reorder it. On the ETS website, you can, when you take your exam, I believe you can give your scores directly to 4 places. One of that is going to be your Caapid, and you'll have option for 3 other schools. Just do your research correctly and give to schools that actually requires, because while you can use it, do use it for the correct sources if you can. But if not, you can always go ahead to the ETS website, and there is a section which says view report and order report. When you hit on view report, I think that's when it gives you the option to order a report. You just have to order from there. Every school has a code, so you just have to type in that code or enter the school name, whichever is easier for you. That's how you order your TOEFL score reports.
That's right. And also, I want you to, just since we're on this topic of TOEFL, is it okay for you to share your TOEFL score?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
How much did you score?
I have taken my TOEFL twice. So first I got 99, but then it wasn't a competitive score according to me and the schools. They just wanted to see that 3-digit number. So I took it again, and I got 103. And then I had to retake my TOEFL this cycle because LLU specifically wanted my TOEFL to be active when I get into the school, like when I start the school. And because I took it in the February of 2022, it wasn't valid, so I had to retake it. And when I retook it, I got 105.
That's amazing. Did you, I know you now the TOEFL pattern has changed a little bit. However, if you could tell, so a lot of people who contact us and ask us how to prepare for TOEFL. So while we can give a little bit of tips here and there, we don't really personally, give coaching for that. So if you could share your, how you prepared for it. To each their own, everyone's patterns are different. However, just to give some perspective.
First thing is, ETS website itself has a lot of free resources that you could use. Once you sign up, they give you individual mock test kind of thing. Like you can do reading, you can do writing. You cannot do all of the test at once, but you have individual sections. Practice that. YouTube has a billion resources. You have so many things, like reading and listening. YouTube has so many. When I say so many, it's like when you just type listening and you'll get and do not think that if it's an IELTS, you don't have to do it. It's the same thing. Go ahead and practice it. Doesn't matter. And writing, what I practiced is I just wrote my essay and I asked ChatGPT to do the grammar correction. And I asked, if you were evaluating this or grade me based on TOEFL standards, it just used to grade me and it used to tell me, okay, this writing section right here, it's not good. You have to, make sure that grammar is correct, make sure the spellings are correct, or the phrasing itself is not wrong. So don't just ask ChatGPT to correct, but also learn from what it is trying to tell you. When I first gave my writing, I think I got 24, but when I last gave my writing, it was 27. So I saw that improvement only from ChatGPT. So use it.
Okay, but actually, this is the first time I'm hearing someone use ChatGPT to grade. Maybe I am far behind, but I have not heard this. So that's nice. It's another very creative way to use ChatGPT. Because you're right. I mean, they would know the standards, right? I mean, it's a very scary time. They know everything
Yeah.
and they're coming for us. But that's nice. While you're using this, while a lot of you all attempt to use the chat GPT, write your statements and all that, please don't do that. Or maybe use it for some base level work, but do not end your statement with chat GPT, not a wise option. For you, and the school can see through it. Sometimes we can see through it, the school will definitely see through it, and also they can detect it. There are also apps to reverse the logic, right? So please be careful. Once you're blacklisted on that, then it'll be very difficult to get back on track. But this is amazing. Okay. So, and Dr. Mano says TST TOEFL Prep was a great resource for when she gave her test. So I hope that also helps everyone here if you're looking for support. And on that note, we have a question by Dr. Manasa. Do we have to order the TOEFL report individually to every school, or is it just once through CAPID? I'll let you take that, Preeti.
Yeah, so there are a couple of schools which will like require you to send them your TOEFL score. I think it's Rutgers is one of them. LLU, I believe, is
LA,
one of them.
UCLA.
Oh yeah, UCLA is one of them.
Yeah.
Colorado is one of them. So schools like this will specifically say in their requirements that TOEFL report is to be sent to their school, and they'll give you a code if it is not otherwise mentioned. If you just submit it to Caapid application, it is enough. But if you're still unsure what to do, just put an email to school. It is always the best thing to do. Reach out to school, like, I've given my TOEFL score to the Caapid. Do you still want me to do something? And they will reach out to you saying yes or no. Let's say.
I agree with that. And on that note, again, as in when we speak about things, we'll just try to elaborate a little bit for the, especially for the first timers who are applying and not aware of things. Emailing the school is something that you can definitely do. This doesn't mean that you email them every other week. I wouldn't recommend that because you don't want to like nag them. They have a lot going on. But when you have a very legit, like valid question, doing things like this, if you're confused, you can always email the school, add your Caapid ID. And but one thing I want to mention is after working with people from different parts of the country, right? Like South America and the East, like our, let's say the South Asian continent, subcontinent, and all of it. Some of us don't really know how to communicate by text or by like emails, let's say, and that can be a big bottleneck, especially when you're going to work in the US or you're hoping to study there or work there. A lot of the messages can sometimes come off as rude, and that is something you definitely have to keep a check. I know it sounds very silly, but it isn't. Out of like especially when you're in a very, like, even for me, right, I'm not even in the admissions committee, I'm just catering to such a small pool of people. When someone texts me in a very entitled way, and if I am very busy, even I get annoyed because I'm thinking, how is this person, like, we're trying to help them and how are they doing this, right? So when the admissions committee, when they're in such a position of power, this will definitely turn them off. You don't want that to happen. So be kind, be polite, be very precise and concise, right? Do not write an entire paragraph because that will just be seen as unnecessary. Tell them what is required in and out, and add your Caapid ID, and that helps. Like Lakshmi said, like Preeti said. Sorry, I've just gotten used to saying
It's okay. You can call me
Lakshmi.
either. I respond to either.
Okay, all right. And Malvika has asked. Whoa, Saraswati has a lot of questions. Saraswati, coming back to you in a while. But Malvika has asked about the number of characters. And Kushi, thank you for answering for that. But also want to specify, it's not words, it's 5,200 characters, including spaces. A very important thing that you could miss out on, and then you write like 10 pages, and then it's difficult to cut down on that. So don't do that. Which format of the CV should we use by Dr. Shrujana? What format did you use, Preeti?
I just used one format that I liked was better. That's it.
Nice answer. Yes, there is no particular format to be used. Just go online and get a format, right, which would cater to the basic CV, and then try to tweak it here and there if you need it. One suggestion I would give is if you can give the reader an understanding about your geographical experiences, like international versus the US or North American experience, and also your dental, non-dental. That could be helpful just to make it more readable. Just understand, think from their shoes as to what a Caapid admissions committee member wants to know. They want to know how varied your exposure is and how much experience you have. And on that note, two schools have very specific formats, which is specific and UNLV.
You.
So these two schools have very clearly, they demand what they need, and their format is a little exhausting, but it is what it is. So do follow that for them. And some schools like Colorado insist on certain things. Like Colorado insists on 4-page CV,
Yeah.
nothing beyond that, and they want hours in the CV. So the end conclusion here is also that how much ever you think you know a school, please read through their page once before you submit, because something could have changed here and there, so that you will know these nitty-gritties about the school. Okay. Dr. Mano is asking, how many schools did you apply to, Preeti, in the first and second cycle, and did they let you know that the bench test needed refining when you didn't make it, I guess, or did you realize yourself?
So I applied for 18 schools both the times. And then when I came back from my bench in Buffalo for the first time, I couldn't do my bench for 5 hours. And they didn't have to tell me that. I myself was able to realize that as soon as I got out of the bench, I was like, okay, I am not prepared enough to take a bench for 5 hours. So, not to scare you guys, Buffalo has a bench which is for 5 hours. They'll give you an optional lunch break if you want, but the most students don't take it. But school actually appreciates if you do take it. But again, that's a whole different rabbit hole. But when it comes to bench, I myself have realized that I was not good enough. And also LLU was one of the schools which I had my bench in the first cycle, and they'll send you a score. When they did send me a score, it was for 5. They gave me 3.5. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I see where I stand, and I got a validation in a form of a grade. Now I have to improve. And because it also comes to the Asian subcontinent, they actually there are so many people from India and Pakistan, so the competition is very high, and most schools look for diversity. And if you want to be accepted to the schools, you have to be on the top tier. If you're not, then you will. It's not that you don't stand a chance. Your chances are slim. That is all that I'm trying to tell. So when you still have, all of you guys still have what, close to 5-6 solid months to practice. So if you can practice from today to bench, I know all of you guys already are practicing or already did have experience with dentistry. So it's not weird, or it's not something we can't break. It's what we have been doing, but just with United States standards. That is all it is. They're looking for. That's it.
Did you, Mano, your audio is muted if you were saying something.
No, I had a quick follow-up question, Dr. Preeti. Thank you so much. That's really helpful when you said that we have a lot of competition within the Asian continent, right?
Yeah.
So did you first time take the bench test, any preparatory course, or did you take it second time, or how was it?
So first time I did not take it. Second time, everybody suggested me to go to Duggan, Stevenson. They're the big names out there. But then I was like, I'm currently working. I work full time, and then I come back home and I practice it. I don't have the liberty to take 12 days or 7 days off and go attend a bench prep course. So the only option I was left out with were going to schools that have bench preps. And I've seen Buffalo has one, and then Pittsburgh had one, Louisville had one. Louisiana. I didn't want to go all the way to Louisiana from North Carolina. I thought Pittsburgh was easier, so I went ahead and attended Pittsburgh's, which was only for 2 days. Yeah.
That helps. Thank you. Sure. I signed up for the UB course, so I'm
amazing.
Excited and anxious as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
Did you, so you said that you got the grade from Loma Linda, and I know this as well, but did you get any sort of feedback from any other schools that you gave bench at?
No. They'll just send you a message saying that you did not reach our requirements or our standards. You might be good at other places, but
that sounds very cocky to me, but okay. All right, and Loma Linda just sends the score. Is it the numerical score? Do they also send you something to? No, they don't.
No.
Okay,
just the score itself.
Okay, this is a very unfortunate collateral consequence of CAAPID, the entire process, because there's a number of people that apply. Excuse me. Even for the application, you don't really get feedback. I think a couple of schools sent them, but I know Colorado sends feedback, but they send very generic feedback.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
more like very superficial and surfacey. It's the same for everybody.
It's the same for everyone,
Yeah.
right? Like I remember when I was in my 12th grade on the CBSE board once, when our scores came, like some 90% of us got 95 for English, and that just can't be. And that's how CU sends out, quite literally, that's how CU
Yeah.
sends out the review. I remember 6 people calling me last year and telling me, Flynn, we got the exact same
Yeah.
verbatim. So that's something you shouldn't expect. But I know that this the director of admissions, Miss Emily Reinberg, she's trying to make this process better. And she's been doing a few things. And this is one feedback that went to her from us and a lot of people. So hopefully that, I don't know how, but maybe in a 2 or 3 years, this could change a little bit. And I hope you all won't have to wait for it, of course. But just as a glimmer of hope, let's hope that some feedback comes to you. But thanks about that, Preeti. And I also want to say on this, if there's anyone who has more questions about bench, on our blog, there's on our blog page, an entire blog page about bench. And why I mentioned this, because it's a very comprehensive one, including resources that you could go to, including Buffalo, including Pittsburgh, including like Stevenson's and some personal experiences. So if there's anyone who's really clueless about it, please go and read that up.
Yeah.
Divya,
Quick
meanwhile,
point.
could you paste
Sorry.
the link here? Yeah, sorry, Preeti, tell me.
Quick point. If you want, like, which school has, is going to ask what, they do have that in their bench prep course. Go ahead and check it out. It'll be very
Oh,
helpful.
yeah. Yes, thank you. And that course is doesn't have a pay gate. So all of you all can just
Yeah.
sign up and access it at this point. Okay, awesome. So Dr. Mansa, about the TOEFL, we're done. Yeah, Kushi is asking about VEST evaluation. I think that question came especially when you mentioned Loma Linda, Preeti.
Yeah.
So how did you, the transcripts of Loma Linda is a big question mark. It's always been. Any tips there?
So unfortunately, I didn't get my VEST done. All thanks to my mom and dad. I've sent them back to the university and like, go ahead and get my transcripts. And they had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think they all hate you now because you had someone to go back and do it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other way around it. So Kushi, I'm guessing that was the background of your question. If in case that was about LLU, you have to get that sent somehow by some. I know people who have also sent it from the US, but I don't know how it worked for them or whether it did, but I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I don't think they will accept anything that you
Yeah.
personally send it. They clearly say it in bolds and caps that the official transcripts are to be sent from school or your university directly. And
That's
they
right.
should be unsealed copies as well. So,
Yes. Sealed copies, right?
sorry, sealed copies. Yeah.
Unopened copies.
Yeah.
So at the most, what you could do is, like for example, like how Preeti said her parents went. There's anyone for you to go back. You could make them take the transcripts from the school again in a sealed envelope, and then your person of point of contact could send it with the from address as the school's address.
Yes.
That's the most you could like work around the like system.
Yeah,
But make sure that the from
suggest
is,
if you can just
Yeah.
send it from school. Ask somebody
That's the
from
best, of
school to
course.
electronically, because now they made this very convenient for from the second cycle. You can electronically send them. So try to get that done.
Wait,
because-
from the last cycle?
Yeah.
Really? You send it
Yeah.
electronically?
Yeah. So the university can
Okay.
electronically send it to the LLU. We cannot send it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They
I
don't
didn't
have
remember
to
this.
necessarily post it. They can
So this
electronically send it.
it doesn't take like 40 days or, but then again, I think it makes it difficult for some people because then the school has to send it, right?
Yes.
You can't really become a middle
Mhm.
person there.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's good.
Yeah.
For the ones who can. Okay. All right. Dr. Vaishnavi has a very specific question for you. How much do you think a graduate research assistantship in MPH helps in improving your profile for dental application? Should I leave my paid GRA ship? Oh, that's
Okay.
a graduate
Graduate
research assistantship for a voluntary dental assistantship. Oh, okay. Weighing the odds.
Okay. So there is one myth going on around that for Caapid application that your application has to be unidirectional and only focused on dentistry. No, the application should be focused around you. So always try to remember that one thing. It is about how you have developed, how you have been different from what you are yesterday, how you have developed. So when it comes to that, I personally have seven to 8 months of dental assisting experience, and that is all I have. There are people out here who have 2 3 years, so that really is not something of substance. What is the what um, so what matters the most is how much you are dedicated and how much you are willing to improve yourself every single day. That doesn't mean that while you're still doing your graduate assistantship, you can still work in a dental clinic as a dental assistant. You can do volunteering hours. You can go Saturday, Sunday. Take one day off if you can. Go alternate Fridays. Go like 2 days in a week, or you can work the schedule around. So when it comes to that, you want to do it, you will do it. And I know that for a fact because I have done it. So you don't have to leave anything for the other. You can have everything. So don't forget that.
Yes, that's right. And like she said, try to, mix and match whatever you can and try to slowly increase the hours. Don't think someone has 300 hours and I will have to jump right at it. Slow and steady is how you pile on the hours. And your very specific question was, uh, you asked about whether you have to leave your research assistantship. Please don't do that, right? That's a very valuable
Yes.
experience, which not a lot of people will get. It's not easy to get, right? So complete that, and like she said, do the other things on the side. All right. Okay, that's nice. And did you also have something like this as part of your MPH? Any research projects, Preeti?
So
Research
I was the
opportunities?
COVID batch for public health. So I was volunteering rather than getting any opportunities to do research or going on site for school, actually, honestly. I was volunteering for Connecticut Department of Public Health because I got my MPH from University of New Haven in Connecticut. So that's all I
Mhm.
could do, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. You were the COVID batch. Wow.
Yes,
Feels like it was a long time ago, but it really wasn't. Okay. Had you taken the ADAT exam?
I have not.
You have not. Okay. Dr. Kaushani, how important is the ADAT exam for Michigan and Pittsburgh? Michigan is really the only school that prefers it a lot, but even in that, it's not mandatory. Like there is a very small demographic of that batch who hasn't taken ADAT. But while that said, I would, if Michigan is really important to you, then it would be good for you to take ADAT and get a good score because that could definitely add an edge. But I think it's also about weighing your options, like how Dr. Vaishnavi's question was, should I leave this for that, right? So is it taking the ADAT exam versus another good experience? Then maybe go for the other experience, but otherwise try to do ADAT. The only thing about ADAT is you'll have to go back to studying, like how you did for INBD or so. So it's a decision you have to make because some people just do not like going back to that academic, or like not even academic, right? Like sitting and studying the theory for an exam. So find out what really works for you. So to summarize it, it's not mandatory, but it could definitely increase your chances by like a maybe 50%, or at least, I guess, or a little bit more. Because I think only one or two, or maybe maximum three people or less would not have ADAT, if I'm not wrong. I remember Dr. Nikita, who's in Michigan, who's almost done, telling me that. So make a decision by using your discretion.
Yep.
Dr. Strujan, what if we have multiple attempts? Which score is accepted for Caapid? I think this is about TOEFL.
Okay. So I think when you take when you register to your TOEFL, you can send them the score. Like, do you want it to be sent to all the schools or not? So if you have that benefit of doubt, not knowing how much you would score and don't know if you want to send that to school or not, just wait until your results are released to you. If you like the score, go ahead and upload those to the Caapid. And the ones which you upload latest would be the ones that every school is going to get.
That's right. And also they will see your earlier scores also, right?
Yeah, they can see your earlier scores as well.
And your My Best score also gets added to the application. Even though a lot of schools don't accept it, but
Yep.
it does appear on your application. All right. How did you, it's again Dr. Shrujana, how did you prepare for your bench test? I think she already answered that. Are there any resources we can follow? She again answered that. And I've also linked the blog link at the end of the chat box. What exercises are generally asked during the bench test? You want to brief a little bit on that, Preeti?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
So the most asked one is definitely a class 2. Ideal class 2 is what they're looking for. When they say ideal, they want a textbook preparation. So always aim for textbook preparation. When you want to check for your measurements, use the appropriate instruments to measure your exact measurements. So you don't just, we cannot eyeball and say, yeah, that is exactly 1.2. Your eye can deceive you sometimes. So use the appropriate instruments to do that. Other than that, so depending on schools, most schools like change up. Class 2 is the, like, it's a standard for every place. And then they will also ask you an anterior crown prep, posterior crown prep. Places like Colorado, they do ask you for wax buildup and inlays, not inlays particularly, but they would like a couple of schools who are looking for like full gold crowns. It's like just a metal preparation. And other than that, Louisville, which I like gave my bench this cycle, they are looking for us to do surveying. So be prepared for that as well. It is not at all difficult. Don't be like shocked with the word surveying. It is very easy. You have so many resources from the Louisville website itself. So if you go ahead on YouTube and search surveying Louisville, there's one professor who made all the videos, and that will be very easier for you. You can go ahead and try it out. And when it comes to bench, the only thing that will help us is practicing. That's the only thing. You cannot. So I know of like most of my friends, they did attend like Stevenson and all those places. But the thing is, if they have not practiced for 3 days, your fingers, your hand will not remember like what it should be. So every single day, be it your birthday, be it anything else, still practice. That you but cannot slack off on practicing. So do that every single day.
Oh my God. Wow. That's amazing. Yes, practice is very important. Anyone celebrating their birthdays this month here? Guys, we need to know that you're behind that screen. We know that Dr. Manu is, but the others as well. But anyhow, she's right about the practice. You can pay all of that money and go somewhere, but if you don't practice, then even Dr. Stevenson's tips and that critique and expertise would not be helpful for you. So yeah, that's very important.
Sorry, I actually forgot to like piggyback to that conversation. Caapid Simplified offers you this crazy situation where nobody else are offering at this point and which is not affordable. You can send them your preps. Please do it. I did it. Dr. Sangamitra is like a sweetest person in the world. So she helped me.
Oh my God, I wish she was like on this call to hear this.
Yes.
I will pass it on to her.
I used to do my preps and I used to send them irrespective of that. I remember sending it around 12 a.m., 1 a.m. And I feel so bad for Dr. Sangamitra because she used to wake up in India and she's like, okay, I see it. Then she used to sit down and she used to assess it. But still, it's a very good thing because you need a professional help to verify whether you're doing it correctly or not. Because the one thing that I lacked in my first cycle was I was practicing, but I didn't know if I thought I was practicing it correctly, but it wasn't. So you need that validation from somebody to go ahead and tell that this is wrong. So go ahead and change it. Every tiny thing as a burn mark to a very damage to the next tooth, every single thing matters. So go ahead and please do subscribe for that services that they have. It is really amazing.
Thanks, Preeti. It's true. It's always good to get yours critiqued. Look around you first. You could probably have a senior whom you trust or maybe another student, like say, imagine if someone like Preeti is willing to help you with that, then go ahead with that. But most important, sorry, what's most important is to make sure that you get that done. So look around for your resources. If not, come to us or someone who's doing it, but get it critiqued and get that feedback, so that it's not just the school that's giving you feedback after a bench test, right? You learn before. Yes, Manu, follow-up question.
Yeah. Follow-up question was, did the Pittsburgh like bench test help the second time? Like I can see you stressing on the bench test prep,
Yes.
which is I think absolutely important. I have a gap too. I did MHA, I'm working and all. So that's why I wanted to understand like how much did that bench test help you, and were you like amazed at the differences that you saw when they evaluated your preps and things like that?
Actually, I couldn't say that I was amazed, because so I had my bench prep course in the August, I believe, yes. But I started my bench prep practice right when I did my first interview in that cycle, which is in June. So I've been practicing. And what amazed me more is that when they were, before, Pittsburgh could assess it, I was able to see what I had to improve in that. I'm like, okay, the floor is not even. I see that. And the gingival seat is supposed to be this, like that should be the depth, but I went little over it or under it. And then you will be surprised by how they micromanage and see it. When I thought I did an almost perfect prep and did show it to them, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. But you know what? There are like these 10 things that you have to still work on. I'm like, I see. I would have not known if I had not gone to the course.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Manasa, go ahead. You can unmute and speak.
Hello?
Hey, Mansa. Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. I just have a follow-up question about the bench test. So,
Mhm.
do any universities ask about the RPD design? Like, how important is it for us to be prepared with the RPD designing?
Louisville does.
Okay.
I think that's the only school that does. So they want you to do the surveying of that for whole cast and then also draw the design. They do have those papers. You just have to draw them on the paper. That is all you have to do. But again, that is very easy. You don't have to worry about it. This is coming from someone who did not do her PG, who did not do an RPD in her life. So
Mhm.
you're good. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Malvika, if this is a follow-up bench question, go ahead. If not, let's wait a little. You can
Yeah.
unmute and speak.
Actually, it's a silly
Yes.
question, but I wanted to ask whether they allow you to do with erotor or you have to do it with micromotor, as we used to do in the UGs.
Oh no, they'll let you do the aerotor. Oh my God, you cannot work with aerotor in 5 hours. No, sorry, with micromotor in 5 hours. That's not happening. You'll get
Okay,
errors.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No question is silly. All silly questions are accepted. So don't worry about that. I'm going to mute my phone. I'm sorry. And let's go to Dr. Saraswati's list of questions, right? How many CE courses do I need for Caapid application? How was your list, Preeti?
CE courses are just an adjunct to your application. That is all. There is no like hardcore rule that you want 50, you want 80. I had 200, close to 200, 220. Yeah.
These are points, credits, or
Yeah.
credits? Okay.
They are credits or hours, everything together. I have like
Credits. Yeah.
200, 200 or 220. It's not too hard to get those many because you can keep adding on. So CV is a living document. Your CV, you can keep adding on to it.
That's
You
right.
just, whenever you have time, whenever you're watching a TV, you can just do one of the CD courses which has 1 or 2 points. Keep adding on to that.
Yes.
It's no
Yes.
big deal at all. So don't worry about CD points.
That's actually a very good point. Somehow sounds bad, but it's what a lot of people do. When you're doing your other mundane jobs, just play them. I mean, obviously listen to it, but then also you will just keep adding points little by little. Yeah, and that's how people actually reach these many points. Because the reason being, you're having Quite often we forget that we also have another life, right? Like Caapid is not the end of the world, even though it's a big part of your dream. You have your personal life, you have your physical health, your mental health, then you probably have a family, you have a social life. All of that is important as well. You need to take that time for yourself. So make sure that you do what you can. And also, it's very important, Saraswati and everyone, to look at all of your profile elements as in a bigger, as a in a wider angle, as a bigger picture. For example, if you're just there for a year in the US, or you just started the process, you don't really have to like race and run to reach that 200, 300 credits or hours, right? Because you've just started, even if it's your volunteering or whatever, I'm talking about any experience. But the idea is to keep an eye on it and make sure that another 2 or 3 years, because you might only apply maybe in 2 years, or you'll maybe make it only in 3 years. Over that 3 years, you need to build on your application and your experience. Because if the first year, if you thought to yourself, okay, I'll probably do C a little bit, and then you have like 20 points, and in your third year also you have just like 50 points, that is where you're lacking, right? That constant effort to build on whatever you're doing, even if it's volunteering or shadowing, that's what's more important than like a short-term approach to it. Dr. Ampika, hi.
Hi, Zen. Hi, Dr. Preeti.
Hello.
Hi, Dr.
First of all, you are a very good orator. The way you are speaking, I can see the passion in your eyes. So thank you for what you're doing.
That's
I
how
just
she
have
is to
a,
interviews. Sorry, go ahead.
I have a question on CE only. You know, you said that keep on doing those online free courses during doing other things. And it's so refreshing listening to that, because I talked to two people who are in the program right now. One of them very rudely, sorry for being so candid, but very rudely told me that um, universities are only interested in like hands-on courses or in-person courses for what you are paying like $1,000 or $1,500 per course. And let's face it, it's a very costly process. Like from the necessities, except like giving $1,000 or $500 even for anything, it's a lot. So I mean, is it okay if we can just do online courses, because we have to support other things also?
Okay, so Ambika, I'll answer your question in 2 points.
Okay.
First thing is, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it doesn't matter to schools. All that matters to schools is how is your application in a holistic way. What if you're paying like $3,000 to get like 50 credit points? That is all you get. That's the maximum you can buy for $3,000, 30 credit points. And then on the top of that, you are not doing anything to work on your CV. You're not building up any of your other experiences like dental assisting or volunteering in general. They would just see that application as, okay, they did CE courses, but what about the rest of the things? Community service orientation is a huge thing in United States. They love people. When you do community service, they take you as a person who love talking to people and who love, communicating to people and serving to people in general. Only if you can serve to a bigger community, you can serve to your patient in a higher scale. So that's what they think. So do not think that you must pay, but if you really feel that that course is something that is interesting you, you definitely want to do it, then go ahead and do it. That would be an investment towards your career. That is my second part.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. It was very helpful.
You're welcome.
Because I think the takeaway here is that when someone tells you that, right, from a school, like a current student, the takeaway should not be that I should not go for hands-on courses. Like she said, if you like it, it's an investment, right? If you do anything that you do not like, don't do, because it's not really worth it investing, because you still might not get into school, sadly. Right? You do a master's, you might not get it. But also the takeaway should be, don't spend that much money for an online course, which you won't have to, but that would be something you can stay away from, because online courses don't add that much value. So you would rather go for free courses or like pay lesser amounts. So that should be a takeaway. But other than that, if it's a hands-on course you like, go for it. Otherwise, don't. Like she said, anything that you add on to your application, that's a one good thing about this. You can really craft your profile. That's the one only good thing I would say, because the rest of it, you're all at a disadvantage because nothing is certain. Right? You can't really, it's not a cookie cutter thing. So the only silver lining to that very dark cloud is that you can decide what you want and then sort of build on that. Okay. Yes, you're welcome. Should we add extra LORs in the program materials other than the ones from the evaluation?
If you have, go ahead and add them. So a couple of schools will let you add up to 5 LORs. So 3 are the mandatory LORs, and then you can add up those 2. But again, do kind of just, this is like the underlining of this. Every school gets like close to 600 to 1,000 applications. They might not see it. Don't be disheartened that they have not. But if you have it, go ahead and with the hope that they would see it, go ahead and upload it.
Make sure it's a good one. Like, don't apply. Imagine you already have a professor. Like, don't add one more professor unless you think it'll add a lot of value. Mainly, if you have a US or a Canadian letter, that could be like your best bet to add.
Yes.
And because there's another point here, when you upload it on the program materials, they know that you uploaded it. And they know that you have seen the letters. So they know it's not really coming from the recommender completely. Even though you might have written the other letters also, because a lot of your professors don't do it. The school officially don't know that, right? Yesterday someone called us, and she's a public health DPH, dental public health resident. So she's planning to apply for CAAPID, and she was telling me about how she spoke to UPenn, if I'm not wrong, about this whole extra letter coding, and they outright told her, you can do it, but don't have to do it because we will not look at it. So but what I still told her is, yes, they will not, but if you really have like a gold of a letter, she has a lot of experience in the US, so if you really have one you want to apply, just go ahead, like upload one. Maybe they'll see it or maybe they won't, but yeah, try to not as much as you can. If you have like that amazing letter, then go for it. Dr. Varun, you had raised your virtual hand a little while back. Do you want to unmute and go ahead?
Yeah, ma'am. Just wanted to ask you, I live in Toronto, Canada. So I don't think so there are any institute available for the bench test.
Okay.
So I have to come to USA or I have to find something here, because I gave my AFK as well from prep doctors.
Okay.
So I am not sure if there are any like other virtual places that will let you take the course. Unfortunately, I'm not sure about that. But if you get a chance to attend one of the bench preps here in the United States, please do it. Again, it's not a hardcore rule that you must, only then you will get an acceptance. If your work is good and if you're confident on your work and if you have a mentor, you can take these preparations to and get it critiqued. You don't have to. There are so many people who got in without having to go to a bench prep class or a course.
Okay,
So if
ma'am.
that is in your, please call me Preethi. You don't have to call me.
We have that habit, everybody have that habit.
I
It's
get
very
it.
difficult.
Break the habit.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they see in United States and Canada, actually. If
How
you
about
call them
Preethi, ma'am?
sir or ma'am, they are like, I see that they are trying to distance. They're not trying to openly communicate. So break all the rules that we learn in India and our home countries back. So just,
that's good. Don't, Preethi ma'am is not what you want to progress to. You want to either call her Preethi or Dr. How do you refer to yourself? Doctor and then your surname?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could do that if you really want to like give the respect through the
way
you
Dr.
address her.
Preethi, thank you so much for this.
Wonderful.
Okay, all right, Varun, thank you. Next question. How to enter publication details? Name of my publication. Oh, it's too long to fit in the name section. This is a very, very basic doubt that a lot of people have. It's a nice question. Saraswati, how do you remember how you fitted in, Lakshmi? Preethi?
I don't know. I think I just had it said PL Pappoppula, and that's just what I have had it. I did not have all of my name in the application because it's too long. And the same thing happened when I uploaded it on the Caapid as well. That's what I did because it wasn't fitting. So.
Yeah. Actually, what you could do is just if the name of your publication breaks at like a very natural stage, like a study on microbiology, for example, semicolon and then explanation, just write the first bit in the name, the title, okay, and then in the description give the entire thing. Like don't miss out on the entire thing, but don't leave it halfway. Some people just leave it halfway, that doesn't look neat at all. So make sure you give them the entire title somewhere. It could be the description. If not for the title, just give them some perspective on the title, they'll come back to read the rest. Okay. And the CV, of course, give everything, like because that's where you can, that's your arena, you can write whatever you want to, however you want to. Should we check CV format in each university and upload according to that in program materials? Yes. As of now, it's just specific in UNLV, but wouldn't hurt to check every cycle because schools do change small things here and there. But yeah, basically read everything, Saraswati, whatever they are telling you. It's always good to read once before you start with them because there could be these minor things. Like I said, Colorado asks for a number of hours on your CV, which you might not put for the other schools, right? So take a complete read always. Last question from Saraswati is, if I submit official West transcript after application submission, will it be updated to university by Caapid?
I think so. It does, because when you upload a TOEFL, like if somebody takes a TOEFL midway in the cycle, it will get updated. Caapid does update that to all the schools. So I believe that's how it works, but I'm sorry.
They update it to all schools? I thought they don't.
They don't. Because when we do...
I'm not sure. I'm asking, yeah.
I believe they do, but I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Because
okay, we can get
TOEFL
this checked.
I'm not sure about Wes.
Okay, because I usually tell people that they have a significant spike in their score to email the schools because I was under the impression they don't. But if you think they do, then I can ask around a little bit and confirm that. Because if they do, then it would make a lot of things easier, right? Like if you're trying to get 100 and then you get that midway.
I think just what I did was I just wanted to be on a safer side. So I did upload it on Caapid, and also I've sent an email to every single school saying that this is my report. And when a couple of schools like mailed back saying that, you know what, you've sent us an unofficial score, we need an official report. And we got that from Caapid. Or some people were like, can you send it back? So that's how I did my TOEFL. So I am believing that's how West works.
They get it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But on that note, if it's a school that imagine needs 100 plus and you made it finally and you want to let them know, even if let's say they have sent it, maybe it would be good to email like how Preethi did, so that out of all that 1,000 like updates they get, you could maybe get through to them and remind them that this is happening. So yeah, it could be like a bit of both. Dr. Tara.
Hi. I actually raised my hand earlier. I know we're like way off the topic I wanted to ask about.
Yes, that's okay with bench, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have two questions actually. First one is that is about the CE courses. I am not familiar at all with what kind of CE courses you guys are talking about. So I just wanted to know, like, if there's a reliable source we can find it from, or, you know, or like, I just wanted to figure, like, how do you get onto it?
So one thing is CE is continuing education, and one of the great resources is ADA website itself.
Okay.
You will have so many free courses on that, and there are also other courses which you have to pay a minimum of like, I think $6, $7, and you can do it. And then there is also Colgate. Colgate website does have a lot of free, like, and also authentic and very good actually. They're not like other boring CE courses. They do have like some good CE courses. Yeah, that should be a good start.
Okay, and since I'm already talking, I hope you don't mind me asking another question.
Go ahead.
About, and I just finished my boards like 2 weeks ago, so I'm very new to this. Another question, I was like, is it okay if somebody doesn't prepare for the bench at all and just like, you know, apply to schools that don't do bench?
You can do it. Indiana is one of the schools. Oh no, sorry. I think that Indiana changed its rules, and from this cycle, they do have a bench.
Okay.
Yes, I think NYU is still the school that does not have a bench. So
Okay.
there are a couple of schools like that. You can go ahead and apply to those. So the only thing that I would suggest is do your research properly about the schools.
Yeah, because this is my first cycle applying, and I'm not that hopeful that I'll get into a lot of schools. So I just
Don't ever say that. If you're not hopeful, who would be?
all right, cool. All right, thank you so much for your time, both of you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for
If you're
posting
really
it.
skeptical about, sorry.
No, I said thank you for posting the CE courses someone just did.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm Jen. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Saraswati. I was actually looking for a list that we had in Telegram, but I couldn't find now. It has a lot of free courses. If I do, then I can maybe send it to you. Tara, it should be somewhere in our repository. All right. Dr. Yashita is asking, is 99 still a good score to apply with for TOEFL?
It's a good score. I wouldn't say it isn't, but if you want to be in the competitive pool, try it again.
Yes, that's right. So very straightforward.
3 digits.
Answer.
They do the magic. Even if it's 100, it still does the magic. So aim for that one more mark.
Yes. Just please don't think that you need 105, 106. That's not true. You just need 3 digits, and they're not going to add a lot more value to it. Like unless there's an extremely difficult tiebreaker, and these are things that we can never know. So it's like a rarity, right? But once you have that 100, then please go and do something else, and do not kill your brains on this. You'd rather do like another test or another experience. How to answer the question? Ooh. Okay, interesting. Not interesting, but very, very important. Why did you choose this university? How did you answer that? Why did you want to choose this particular university?
So I think I answered that question in 2 parts. One was because my mentor, Dr. Satya Upadhyayala, he graduated from that school. He's been like wonderful to me. Whenever I, approached him and I used to send him preps every single day. I used to do 5 preps every single day. I think I started this in July all the way through September 17th. No, 20. September 20. These were the days I prepped, and every single day I used to send him 5 preps. He used to get mad at me, but he never used to not critique them. He used to tell me, go ahead, check that out. You tell me what are the mistakes in this. So I used to send him my prep, and then these are the corrections that I think I should do. And then he used to come up with saying that, okay, this is correct, this is not. And he used to critique them. He helped me in a million ways. So if one student who graduated from that place could do wonders, if I could graduate from that place, why not? I got the opportunity. So I took it. And the second thing is, my sister lives in Pennsylvania. So it's the family that mattered. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So she lives 3.5, 4 hours, which is still close. So that's why I chose it.
Okay, so Preeti gave you the answer that she gave. So let me translate that into your takeaway, which number 1 is, do not shy away from writing about sillier or simpler or more important things like family, right? Or how that place makes you feel. Like maybe you like to live in the mountains, or I mean, not in the mountains, but where there are mountains and hills around, and you like to trek, like Colorado. That's something a lot of people talk about. And how that place makes you feel, because you are going to spend your 2 years there, 3 years there. And I think now a lot of programs have become 3 in the cycle. I'm still doing my reading, but things have changed a little bit. So it is very important for them to know that you are aware of that, right? And family, they are extremely, they always look forward to know family, meaning your people. It could be a family of friends. Are you looking at where your tribe is? Because, and I know this especially also from Dr. Nourah's interviews. She's given 10, and all those interviews, her takeaway is this, that they actually ask about this very importantly, whether you're ready, because otherwise people locate and then they are not okay with the new environment, right? So that understanding is important. Second takeaway that I want to mention, talk about from Preeti's answer, is be very specific, right? She had a very specific mentor, and she wrote about the mentor in her answer, or maybe spoke about the person in her interview. Anything that you talk about, please don't make it general, right? Don't say that the school has amazing innovation labs. Yeah, all the schools have that, but which innovation lab and which project really caught your eye, right? The school has amazing faculty. Yes, all the schools have amazing faculty. Which one faculty are you aware of? And what about their work has enticed you to join the school? Or community service, right? They have great community service initiatives. Most of the schools have some of the other camp or like outreach program. But which initiative really did you like, and how does that link match back to your life is also another step of making your answer stronger. For instance, if your personal statement story talks about how you always wanted to work with the geriatric demographic, then an initiative that aligns with the geriatric at the school is something you can sort of align and show that you have this, I have this, so I want that energies and passion to match. Similarly, I remember an applicant who was applying, his sister was a person of special needs, and he always wanted to work more to help her with it, and through her community, and he kept working with a lot of these programs, right? And then the school that he got into or he was applying to had a lot of these initiatives where they not just did outreach programs but also did design thinking and research to help people with special requirements. So he spoke about it. So you see how your answer elevates from like you have amazing innovation to like something else, right? That is where you that's what's key. So instead of saying that I know a lot of students in your school talk about that one doctor, who is it, Satya, in your life, and elaborate more on that. All right. Dr. Jasmine is asking, did you change, okay, this is a very good question. Did you change your letter of recommendation in the second cycle, the content of your LOR when you applied for the second time?
Content I have tweaked here and there, but the essence was the same. So the gist of it and the actual like substance of it was the same, but I did like grammatical modifications. That's all I've done. That is all. And I sent it to Flynn to review. Like, is it a good enough LOR, or do you want me to rewrite? She's like, it's fine. You're fine. Go ahead, apply.
That's right. Don't change a lot. The only place that you can do not touch the dean's letter too much, because especially if the dean doesn't know you a lot, because that will never change really. But then where you could change is, imagine you gave a letter of recommendation from your current experience, like you're shadowing somewhere, then there could have been incremental elevations in your experience in the last 6 months or 9 months. So you could add that, like, all very subjective. Analyze your relationship with the recommender. Will the recommend, what, we try to work around a lot of things, like we write the letter ourselves because we have to. But I think the best way to analyze it is really think about when it will happen. Will your recommender actually change the letter for you? Right? So will the dean change the letter for you? They won't, so don't do it. But your current boss or your mentor will, right? Could. So then change accordingly. Kaushani is asking whether LLU requires WES. LLU requires either WES alone or ECE plus your transcripts sent from school. So that's either or. So either WES alone or LLU, ECE plus transcripts sent from your school directly, your BDS or your undergrad school to LLU. Ambika's question is Dean's letter an absolute requirement? Did you give the Dean's letter?
I did give my Dean's letter. I know there would be situations where like Dean like leaves the school or something happens. If they are not available, communicate this with the school saying that my Dean is not available for this specific reason. It's not like he doesn't want to write. Do not say that. Say he's not available because he's no longer my Dean. Can I get a letter from my current Dean? Because the schools do let you take from your current dean who doesn't know you at all, which makes no sense, but they do let. So you can do that. He will, so your current dean, whether it be a male or female, they will only know you from the documentation that they have. So it still holds the weight that it's a dean's letter, but it's not as authentic as getting it from your own dean.
That's right. That's right. I was just going through the questions. We have a lot of questions. We are already over time.
Then is it
So
okay
we're going
if
to take
I
a few more.
Sorry, is it okay if I just
Sorry, I muted you by mistake. Ambika, can you unmute yourself? I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I just have one
Yes.
question to confirm from Dr. Preeti. Is it okay if I ask her about the dean's question?
I was hoping to avoid that. But yes, go ahead.
It's okay. It's
No
okay. It's okay. I can.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's
So
okay.
for in my position, my former dean is all arms to give me the letter of recommendation, but the current one doesn't know me, don't want to give it. So that's my struggle.
Do take it from your former. In the first paragraph, say that that person knows you because he was dean of the school,
Mhm.
and get the letter from either his clinic or whatever they are working from. That's what I did. So my first cycle, my former dean was still my dean. The second cycle I applied, he was no longer my dean. So he just left the school. I didn't know what to do. I approached school and asked them, this is the situation. What do you want me to do? They're like, if your former dean could still give you a letter, but have the specification that I know her from the school and I am her dean. If he could do that, give that justification, we are cool with that. So that's what I have done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Communication is key. Tell them, like if you really can't, then just let them know so that they don't think that you have not seen the requirement, right? Like you know it, but you can't do it. All right. I'm going to try and rush through a few questions here and there. Can we email the schools we want to apply and ask how their ideal candidate looks like? I would not recommend this because firstly, no one's going to give you a concrete answer. They're just going to say, we look at your holistic application. And yeah, there's like no one's telling this answer because if they do, then, you guys could have prepared much better. But there is really no cookie cutter thing here. I really feel like they genuinely look at things holistically, and they'll obviously look at the mandatory requirements they have, like your visa or your TOEFL, etc. Can we upload the TOEFL score after submission in case there's improvement? Yes, that's something that Preeti spoke about earlier. You can update your score on Caapid, and the schools might know about it, but also you could email them if it was a significant increase. Do we have to upload our CV through Caapid? For some schools, you do, right? Like I think Boston is one of them. Some ask you, Colorado. UCLA, I think, UOP for sure, UNLV. So some schools don't, but it would be wise to prepare one because most of them do through the program material section, and also your experiences subsection and the supporting information tab is basically your CV broken down.
Yes.
So the CV could like help you, update that as well. ETS does provide the scores for sending to 4 schools, but I have a doubt. When we pass TOEFL exam, are our scores immediately sent to 4 schools? Or do we have to request that they send them according to our timing preference? Do you know about this, Preeti?
As soon as they release the results to you, official results, that is when they officially release the results to all the 4 schools or 4 places that you have initially signed up for when you registered for the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think that's right, because they would, once it's out, then they would send it. But yeah, that's right. Okay. Did you take any bench test? Yes, she's already responded to that. How did you prepare for bench test? Is there an institute? Okay, what is the best time to submit the application? I understand that early is always better, but is there any more realistic timeline? Early is good. Early is important, but what is more important is the quality of your application. Please don't butcher your application thinking that an early application will get you in. It will not. I know people have applied in the last week to like Colorado and all, who is on rolling basis and still gotten invitation, right? So this is not to say that you wait till the last day. Please don't get me wrong. Best practice is early application. But if you imagine you couldn't make it because of personal reasons or whatever reasons, you flaked, or you cannot being able to think properly and write properly, it's okay. Take your time, but find a healthy balance between taking time and applying early and early application. And up until April, honestly, is easily an early application, at least according to me. Except for schools maybe that close in May, like Alabama, SIU, and like 2 more or 3 more. Maybe try to apply early April if you are aiming for those schools like it's life and death. Otherwise, honestly, quality over quantity, but apply as early as you can. Where can we know the details of the exercises asked during the bench, or do we only get to know after the interview? I mean, after getting the interview. Some schools don't even send you the information,
Yeah.
right? Preeti, you want to
Yeah.
take this?
So most of the schools, they don't even tell you like what they are going to ask you. There are a couple of schools that do let you know once you pass the like your interview, and then I think 2 days before your bench, they will let you know that these are the preparations. Like they'll give you a like choice of 4 things and be like, we will be asking 2 among these 4. That's what they do, but they will not concretely go ahead and give you that. I will ask, PFM on 9. That's not going to happen. They're just going to give you very like vague instructions saying that it's going to be a full ground, or it's going to be some schools even tell that it's going to be a PFM. Most schools don't tell that. They just say that it's going to be 1 crown prep and 1 restoration. That's all they're going to tell you. But for the most part, the things that are going to be there are crown preps, class 2s, amalgam restorations, amalgam preps, composite preps, composite restorations. For the most part, those are the things that you are supposed to be practicing.
That's right. And whatever information, like Preeti said, is on the on our bench prep course, is our historical information, right? What has happened in the past years. It could be helpful for you. So please go and check that out. You just have to sign up and you'll have the information. Yes. So what? How do you remember when you went for the bench prep course at Pittsburgh, Preeti? Someone's asked when do you apply?
I believe it is August 18th and 19th or 12th or 13th. It's one of those weekends. It was 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And if you can, you can stay back on Monday and Tuesday and like do the preps. There won't be any professors, but if you want, you can just practice there. Yeah.
And you remember about the visa status matters in Pittsburgh, how it was for you? You were on a student visa at that time, is it?
Yes, I'm still on my student visa. I'm on F1. So I think they're cool with F1s, B1, B2s, H4s.
Yeah, I think so too. Pittsburgh is fine with them.
Yeah.
You don't really have to have like a very strict.
Yeah, you don't have to be an American citizen or a permanent resident. You could just have a valid visa to be in the United States. That is all they are looking for. That's it. And I also remember one of my going to be classmates, they actually have a J1 visa, or no, sorry, visiting visa. They just came in, gave their bench, went back.
Okay.
So
that clears your answer then, because that's the least advantaged visa type, right? Because you're not in the country on a permanent basis. How good are the chances for B1, B2 candidates, as most of the schools prefer temporary citizens or green card holders? Honestly, it's okay. Like she said, visiting visa is absolutely fine. But the only thing is, compared to people who have a permanent residence or like a citizens, will obviously have a bit of a like higher end on you, because some schools will accept them, while some schools might not accept you. So that's the only thing. But so many people that we all know have gotten in with visiting visa, and this is not just false hope. For real, and people who, like Preeti said, who just come to the US or Canada to give their INBD and bench and sometimes interview. That's all. They don't even have the means to stay back because they don't have people to host them and they can't pay the expenses, and they go back. But the only thing is, if you have a residential visa, your experiences in the US increases. So all this could somewhere impact you, but try and make do wherever you are, and eventually build on it. You'll definitely have good chances. Is it easier to get into advanced clinical dentistry program or DDS? Are we allowed to practice after advanced clinical program? I'm actually not sure about that. Do you know, Preeti?
I think you can, but you will have a limited restriction, as you have a couple of states that you can use your license at. That's all the information I have on that. That's unfortunately. Yeah.
I also don't have any. This is who's this? Dr. Asheen. Okay, if I hear something, I'm going to note down your name and come back to you if I do know something. Okay. Dr. Pinky is asking, when you send the letter for TOEFL score for the second time, do you have to pay for the new TOEFL score report? You should, right?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah,
You have to.
Machine. Okay. Will the recording be shared? I had to join later. Yes, not right away, but I can send it to you, Sanjita. I'm just noting down your name again. Okay. I am getting great motivation about bench prep. Oh, yes, Mano. I'm glad that Preeti has given you that motivation. I have cleared INBD, but due to some visa issues, I had to enter states by taking MPH. Okay. So any suggestion regarding which college I should take, which allows me to shadow and gain experience of dental assisting? You mean who has more clinical exposure, right? Who has more patient exposure? Okay.
I think go ahead with the universities that have a dentist, like a big DDS or a DMD program. That way you don't have to go through all the fiasco of searching for a clinic, then going and, trying to find a dental clinic which would allow you to do an assistant. For instance, North Carolina, University of North Carolina, they do have an associated dental and a public health. So does Louisville, Louisiana. So apply to universities like that. This is a mistake that I have done when I initially came in because I didn't know this. I actually got into Alabama when I did my applied for MPH, but I did not choose it because I didn't have this information. So if you could go ahead and apply to MPH in schools that has dental courses in them as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be DMD or DDS. It could be dental public health. It could be any residency programs. It doesn't matter. If there is a dental wing in the school, you will always be at a higher advantage.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's a good point. Is there somewhere I can find the list of schools that require a bench test? Do you recommend that? I think that's on that blog, Tara, if I'm not wrong. So do check that out.
And
do you recommend that someone
I think it's even also on the ADA-CAAPID website itself. They have updated it. So in that, there's a section, dental, bench prep needed, yes or no. So that also could help.
The program finder filters?
Yes, yes.
Well, they've made that page amazing, by the way. Like, I think they've really worked on it, right?
Yeah.
It is very handy now, very, very user-friendly. So please do check that out. So she's right, the filter should be there. It's a very basic filter. Do you recommend that someone I think, okay, Tara, we spoke about this, right? Not prepping. Any good bench test? Okay, that's done. Bench test courses in Houston. I would again recommend you to check that blog link because we have really listed out a lot of people. It includes individual like doctors also who's coaching with their website and all of it. So please check that out. Is it okay to add free CE courses to your CV? Yes, it doesn't really matter if it's free or paid or what. If it has credits and hours, then it adds more value.
Yes.
B1, B2 visa, yes, answered. I'm hearing different responses about TOEFL scores. Some say TOEFL is a deciding factor. Sometimes we should score 110 plus. Is it true?
Ooh.
No, I don't. I mean, unless someone from the admission committee comes and tells me that.
I got accepted, so that's the proof. You don't need 110.
Exactly. You don't need
Do not
and
like,
people with 99 also gets accepted. Like at sometimes, please don't go for that unless, like I said, someone in the admissions committee is telling you that. Not even a current student.
Yes,
I would
usually
not really pay attention to that at all. And if someone from the admission committee tells you that, please come and tell us as well. So we also know it's true. Is uploading certificates for CE courses mandatory? Not at all. No one in Caapid asks for anything. I don't know how they run this. Honestly, I keep often say it's like filing income tax in India because while you file it, they don't ask for much. But if the scrutiny comes up, they do. But there's one school, I think it's Boston. I don't know, one school that asks you to upload Boston or Buffalo. Is it Buffalo? I'm not sure. 5, they'll give you up to 5 to 10.
Yes, it's Buffalo. It's Buffalo.
Buffalo.
And also, again, I think last cycle, 2023, 2024 cycle, Indiana wanted proof, or they just clearly said that they wanted certificates or like a script of 20 CD points that you have taken in United States. So they clearly
CD points or community service? CD points.
CD points.
Oh.
CD points. Okay. So that's the only thing that you
Really
should,
small. I
yeah,
mean, like a small number.
yeah, it's a very
You
small
guys can
number,
make
so
it.
you don't have to be worried by it.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Um, all right, and then different schools have their specific requirements for LOIs. What would you suggest is the best way to prioritize them? The most accepted and common combination would be one dean, one professor, and someone from the US, right? Preeti, you apply to 18 schools, so you would have
Yeah.
gone by the common
Yes, that is the most, like, I think that was the great structure to balance every school out, having one dean, one probably HOD or a professor that very can write very highly of you, and then one of the United States experience letter. If it's an American or a Canadian, it's great. If not, it's still fine. But one definitely from the United States.
Yes, that's right. That's what will add value. Pratima, hi Pratima. Your question is, soon after I reapplied with my previous completed application, I got a confirmation email in a minute after I copied everything. But I see now that the application is all wiped out, all sections emptied. Should I wait for 24 hours because I already got the confirmation?
Yeah, so the thing is, now when I look at my application, so I see that I'll probably have to reorder every EC and INBD scores and stuff. I wonder, because I copied everything, does it update after 24 hours or should I wait?
It updates earlier than 24, but this is not your first cycle then, right?
No, I just applied to Colorado last
cycle. Okay.
yeah, that's all, because
I
I
think
started applying in September, and then I am applying this cycle to the other schools possible.
okay. I think what you should do is you should contact support on ADA Caapid. They're actually very prompt in responding.
Exactly.
Just tell them, yeah, before you upload everything and go take that trouble, just take a day or so and make sure you contact them. It could be a technical glitch. Often happens on ADA website, Caapid website. So please check that out and
So-
before you make any changes.
I see. I was just wondering, maybe it is a common glitch, maybe, because
Yes,
yeah.
Saraswati says you can contact support and they will fix it immediately as well.
Yes.
So
Oh, that's
I think
brilliant.
that's
Thank you
something
so much.
yes.
And I just
problem.
have one more question about my Colorado application, if you don't mind. I applied in November, so I finished my Caapid application mid-November and then submitted my supplemental around end of December. So when should I expect for them to send out an invitation?
You have 2 more batches to go for Colorado. Wait for
Yes.
it. Ideally, they send out application how you like in the order of application, right? If
I
you
see.
applied earlier, mid, and later. But
Yeah.
also, I wouldn't really bank on it fully because sometimes they could also send it later. Even if you
That's
applied in the
fine.
beginning, they might send later. So yeah, it's better to wait out
Yeah,
completely
I
and not
understand. The thing
really
is
lose hope.
that my visa I have an appointment for my US B1 B2 visa on April 19th. So I'm just hoping to hear late rather than early.
Good. Then probably
Yeah,
that's why. And hopefully it's
Yeah.
just that's just the reason.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
luck on that.
Thank you so much.
It's not time to lose hope yet, so there's time.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Samiha, you can unmute. We'll take last 3 Mansa, Kaushini, and Samiha, and we'll wrap this up. A few more questions pending, which I will text and reply as Preeti takes the questions. Samiha, you can go now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Flynn. How are
Hey.
you? Hi, Dr. Preeti.
Hi.
I hope you guys are doing well. Well, my question is a bit long back. I volunteered as a lab assistant the previous year. So I was not sure how I'm supposed to put that up in my CV, because when I asked the professor that if I could put it up in my CV, he said I could put you in the acknowledgements, but I may not as well, because I'm not sure about it. So is it good to put that thing in my CV or not? I'm not particularly sure about it.
Okay, so just to clarify, you worked in a dental lab, right?
Yes.
then it is considered as a dental experience and you could upload it on your CV. That shouldn't be a problem at all. But when you have the description section, clearly do mention that you did do like whatever you had done. I'm sure you would have done complete dentures and help with so many other things. So
no, it was a research lab. It was like
Oh, wow.
specifically stem cell regeneration, pulp regeneration. So it was specifically, the project was specifically to it. So I'm not sure if I should put that in my CV, because he said that I may put you into the acknowledgements of the paper or I may not.
You
So-
could just say that you have volunteered in that thing. You don't have to be necessarily in the paper because that is still your experience. If just because the professor did not want you to be in the paper doesn't mean you have not done it. You have done it. You've seen the whole process. So go ahead and upload that in your research experiences. So they would know what you have done. It doesn't have to be published.
Okay, and just one more other question. As you mentioned about CE courses, that you've taken multiple online CE courses, we can't mention all of them in our CV. So how do we like frame it in our CV so that, it doesn't look too bulky, and it comes into 2 pages. The CV has to come into 2 pages, or 1 or 2 pages. It shouldn't extend beyond it. So just wanted to ask you how to do that.
So there would be a couple of like CD points in your application or in your whole profile, which weighed like more than 12, sometimes 18, 16. So I would have put them in the first. And I used to have like 2 documents. One is my CV itself, and there's another document. As soon as I did some of the CDE courses, I went ahead and uploaded the name, how many points or hours I got from that. So it was easier for me to access it, and also the certificate in case if I needed it. But for the most part, I have uploaded the CDEs that are over 18, 12 in my CV.
Okay. By the way, I'm from Hyderabad too. So just wanted to, I just wanted to, it felt so good, somebody to know from Hyderabad.
Thank you.
It was so nice talking to you as well, and hearing you, and all the best for your
Thank you
school,
so much.
and hope you rock over it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amiha. Dr. Kaushal, you can go next.
Hi, Dr. Preethi. Thank you so much for the session. So I have 2 questions. First is, so do we mention dental internship in our CV under dental experiences? Because a lot of people are saying like, because internship is a part of dental curriculum in our home country, so should we mention that? And the second question is regarding WES, regarding the transcript for LLU. So do we ask a school to send the comprehensive transcript that they provide at the end of our dental school, or do we need to ask them to send individual mark sheet, like for individual years? If you could just, yeah.
Okay. So the first part of it is, so I'll answer the second part of it first. So the comprehensive one, that should be fine. They don't need individual mark list.
Okay.
And for the first part, when it comes to internship, it is still your dental experience. So go ahead and lodge that in your CV. But if you're asking me about if you want to highlight that in your Caapid application, because that only lets you highlight like 4 experiences. If you have something of more significance, highlight that. If not, highlight your internship.
Okay. Okay. And so to follow up with your transcript, so do they need to sign it, or like put a stamp on the transcript and then send it to electronically?
So it's a sealed, like an original document itself. They will have the school seal on it, and I think it's the registrar's sign, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So that should be there. It is the original one. They should not mend it in any way. They just can send it electronically. That is all, just to expedite the process. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaushal. Dr. Manasa.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Dr.
Hi, hi, thank you. Thanks again for doing this. I just have a couple of questions regarding the application columns in the Caapid. So there's this column where we have to upload the year from where we graduated. I'm from India. So do we have to include the year that we did our internship, or just the year of passing out our final year exam? Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So when you will have your dental license, right? Whatever the year
Right.
is on the dental license, go ahead and upload that. That is the year that you graduated, because without internship we cannot graduate. So after, when you finished your internship and when you got your actual dental license, that's the year that you're going to upload it.
So just to clarify again, the year that we got our license,
Mm-hmm.
we need to put in, okay, not the one on our original degree then. Okay. All right. Can I just ask one more question? I'm sorry if this is
Go
being
ahead.
long. There's a column, another column where we can add dentists from the US if we know any family members.
Uh-huh.
How
Yes.
does that work exactly? Like, is that an advantage, or is it better not disclosing any kind of information that we do know dentists from the US? Or I just want to know that.
I think that question mostly signifies, or they are trying to see if they are giving that question in a hope that if you know somebody from United States who is a dentist, that means you would have had some of the passive, United States dental experience. That is all that they are looking for. But if you have somebody, go ahead and write their name, where they work from. I know they'll give you a description box, so you can go ahead and fill that with all those details. But if you don't have anybody, that's not a problem at all.
Okay. And few universities also have supplemental applications, right? So do
Yes.
we have to individually go to the university and fill out the supplemental application, or does CAAPID direct us?
So no, so for Indiana, Caapid does direct you, but for the
Okay.
rest of the places, the university itself. So once Caapid application sends you, ADA sends your application to the university, university will receive it, and then they'll give you the supplemental link, or they'll give you like a password to create, and from then you can take and go ahead.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's all. Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mansa. We are going to have a hard stop here. Sorry, guys, but I think we almost got to everyone. If you guys if I've missed out on any questions, please just email us as a reply to this calendar invitation on your Google Calendar, or you'll have that email ID on the invite. So please just email us and we'll get back to you. And thank you so much for joining. This is very engaging. I think we got the best out of Dr. Preethi, and that's precisely the point of this session. We have a couple more coming this month. There's one with me and Meenakshi speaking about letters of recommendation, which is, I think, at the end of the month. And there's another one with Dr. Urvi, who's also a current student. So sign up for these separately, because on the form, you can select which ones you want. So depending on the drills that you've chosen is how we send you the calendar invite. So please make sure that you've chosen the ones that you want to go for. And before we drop, we would like to take a customary screenshot and sort of remember the day. So if there's anyone who's willing to show their faces, then this would be the time. If not, that's okay as well. I'm just gonna snip. Hi, Malvika. Thank you. Thank you, Mano. Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Dr. Ramya. Oh, Isha's in her scrubs.
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Okay, I think I've gotten it. Thank you so much, guys. Hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions to go through to Preethi, you can text us or email us and we can relay it through. Is that okay, Preethi, or do you have any other?
That is all good. So if you have any questions, I think I do have my email ID somewhere. If not, I'll let you know.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead, email me. I might take a little while, but I'll definitely get back to you.
You mean
Thank you so much
they
for
can
doing-
email you directly? Is that?
Yeah,
or
that's
you
fine.
would yeah,
That's
okay.
fine. That is
Okay,
fine.
I'm
too.
gonna just
You
put
can,
the email ID here.
you
That there's
can
anyone who wants
reach
to.
out to Flynn and she can reach out to me, or you can just mail me. Anything is fine. Thank you so much for joining, and
Thank you,
I hope you
everyone.
guys have so much fun applying because it's a beautiful experience.
That is a very nice way to put it. That's nice. It's lovely.
It is stressful, sure,
Let's
but
get
it's beautiful.
Yes, agreed, for sure. And what's on the other side is definitely something worth going through this for sure. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Dream Caapid, or also don't dream Caapid, because you need your peace of mind.
Hey Flynn, can you hear me? I think you muted.
Sorry, my audio was muted. I was talking to you. Yes, you can. If you want to talk to me over a telephone conversation, please book a call on this link. This is linked to my calendar, so you would get me at the right time, and I'll
Sure.
call you on WhatsApp. So this is the link you can use. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Flynn, and thank you so much, Dr. Preethi. All the best for your future interviews.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you so much.
Flynn,
Thank
I
you.
have a
Bye-bye.
quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through your services, and one of those are reviewing the Caapid application. So how does that
Yes.
work?
So there are two reviews. One is the documents, meaning to say that we can review your statement, your CV, whichever document you want us to review. So that there's a link for it where you can sign up for that, and then you email the documents to me. And otherwise, if you want the entire application to be done, that's another service, because then what we prefer is we come on a video call with you for about 45 minutes or so that you can log into your application and you can share your screen, and we can take you tab by tab and just make sure that things have been filled the right way. So these are the two options you have. Whichever you want, then you can let me know.
And what is the turnaround
And
time for individual essays or the entire application?
individual essays, we usually between 15 days. This is something I say, but then we try to do it within less than 2 days. But sometimes when we're really packed in, then 3 working days. And I say working days because like this weekend is not really working for the team. So that's why. But if it is the entire application, there's no turnaround time per se. It's basically we need to find a common time between the two of us or someone from my team, and we sit down for a call. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And Ambika, we have spoken on WhatsApp, right? You're the same Ambika?
Not
Agarwal?
on WhatsApp. I think we have spoken once in previous year when I was still preparing for INBD. Just I had to talk with you.
2023 June.
I think so. Yes.
Is there 815 in your phone number?
8815. Yes, that's me.
Okay, I have you on my WhatsApp, so I can send it to you there.
Okay, thank you. That will be helpful.
Okay. Bye-bye. Gunam, is there any expiration for notarized diploma for uploading in CAP? Notarized diploma, does that expire?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't expire the way, so you should be fine. But if
Awesome.
you can go ahead and get it like in this year, just get
Fresh
it.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
that's
just
right.
shows
Probably.
like you're dedicated and you want to do it. Other than that,
and it's more. Yeah.
That's it.
Like things could have changed in the last 1 year, right? But I mean, you as a person or your track record, just to make sure that you're still like valid visa, resident, and all that. If previous TOEFL score is low and the next time we get the desired score, do they really ask about the low score? See, I mean, depends
I don't
on
think
the
they would like ask
will.
why you got it or anything. They would just see and they would think, oh, nice, they improve. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People, they do ask you about your shortcomings per se, like in quotes. But then TOEFL, I think, is the least important.
Yeah.
That way. They'll probably ask you about your GPA or something like that. So don't worry about that. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Good luck with your application.